Chapter 1. When I was small. My name is Robert. I am 72 years old now. I have lived many years, but when I sit alone at night, I do not remember all of them. I remember only some special days. These days are not big days. They are not famous days. They are quiet days. But they are the best days of my life. Tonight, I want to share them with you. I want to open my heart. If you are young, listen carefully. You may think life is long. You may think time will wait for you, but it will not. Time moves quietly, and one day you will look back like I do now. When I was small, I lived in a simple home. We did not have much money, but we had something better. We had love. I still remember my father clearly. I was 5 years old when he taught me how to walk on the road. He held my hand tightly. His hand was warm and strong. He said, "Do not be afraid. I am here." I fell many times. I cried, but he never let me stay down. Each time he lifted me up. He said, "My son, you will fall again and again in life, but each time you fall, you must stand up stronger." At that age, I did not understand, but now, after 72 years, those words still live inside me. My mother was the heart of our home. She had no gold, no diamonds, no rich clothes, but her hands were full of love. She cooked slowly and carefully. She sang softly before I slept. One night, I had a high fever. She stayed awake all night. She placed a wet cloth on my head again and again. She whispered, "Do not worry, you will be fine." That night, I learned what true love is. A mother's love is the first love of life, and it is the strongest. One day, my father brought me a small book. It was old, it was thin, but for me, it was a treasure. He said, "Read, my son. A book can give you the whole world, even if you own nothing." I read that book again and again. My friends laughed at me, but I did not care. I felt rich. My childhood was simple. We had no toys. We played with stones and sticks. We ran until sunset. When I came home tired and hungry, my mother gave me bread. That bread tasted sweeter than any food I ate later in life. From those days, I learned something important. Joy is not in things. Joy is in moments.
Chapter 2. My Golden Days. The years between 10 and 15 were special. I call them my golden days, not because of money, but because of lessons. At school, I failed many times. Once I failed a test and came home crying. I thought my father would be angry, but he said calmly, "Failure is not shame. Stopping is shame." That sentence changed my life. My mother taught me honesty. One day I lied about losing a coin. She did not shout. She only said, "Lies may save you today, but they will destroy your tomorrow." Her soft voice hurt more than punishment. At 12, I wanted new shoes. We could not afford them. My mother said, "Walk with pride, even if your feet are bare." At 15, I lost a race. My father said, "Do not fear losing, fear not trying." These lessons stayed with me forever. When I close my eyes now, I see that small boy again, holding his father's hand, listening to his mother's voice, and I whisper, "Yes, these were my golden days."
Chapter 3. The First Look. After my golden days of childhood and teenage years, Life slowly changed. I grew older, and my heart began to feel new things. Childhood was full of games and lessons, but youth brought feelings I had never known before. I was 27 years old when it happened, that age when a man wants to build his future, but also wants someone to walk beside him. I still remember the first time I saw Anna. She was standing across the street talking to her friend. Her smile was soft. Her eyes were bright. My heart started beating fast. I told myself, "Robert, what is happening to you?" I had never felt that way before. I looked away quickly, but her face stayed in my mind. That moment became the start of something new. Days passed, but I could not forget her. I found excuses to walk that same road again. Sometimes I saw her, sometimes I did not. But every time I did, my heart whispered, "She is the one." I was nervous. My mind said, "What if she ignores you?" My heart said, "At least try." One day I gathered courage. I walked closer and said, "Hello." She looked at me. She smiled. That small smile filled my heart with happiness. Slowly we started talking. At first only small words. Later, longer talks. We laughed at simple things. I told her about my parents, my childhood, my dreams. She told me about her struggles, her hopes. One day she said, "Life is not easy, but I want someone who will stand with me." I looked at her and replied softly, "Maybe I can be that someone." She did not answer, but she smiled again. That smile was enough. Love grew slowly. I wrote letters at night. My hands shook while writing. I waited days for her reply. When her letter came, I read it again and again. Sometimes we met in the park. Sometimes we only walked in silence. One evening I said, "My life feels brighter when you are near." She looked down and whispered, "I feel the same." My heart felt full, but love was not easy. Chapter 4. Fighting for Love. Anna's family was not happy. They wanted someone richer for her, someone with money, someone with a big name. When she told me this, my heart broke. Her eyes were full of tears. "Robert," she said softly, "my parents do not agree. They say you cannot give me a good life." I looked at her and asked, "Do you believe them?" She shook her head. "No," she said, "I believe you, but they are my family." That day, I made a promise to myself. I would fight, not against her family, but against the doubts they had about me. I started working more. I took small jobs. Some days I carried heavy bags for hours. My hands burned, my body hurt, but I did not stop. Every coin felt important. At night, I wrote Anna letters. I told her, "One day we will have our own home. Trust me." There were nights when I felt weak. I asked myself, why is love so hard? But then I remembered her smile, and I stood up again. She was strong too. Sometimes she said, "I'm scared." I held her hand and said, "I will not leave you." She cried and whispered, "Promise me." "I promise," I said. Those words were my truth. One evening, her brother came to me. He said angrily, "Stay away from her." I replied calmly, "I may not have much today, but I will prove myself." Years passed with struggle, but love did not leave. Slowly, her family saw my effort. They saw I did not give up. Walls began to break. Love changed hearts. Looking back now, I can say this. Fighting for love was hard,
but it made me a man. Chapter 5. The Wedding Day. After years of waiting, the day finally came. The day we had dreamed about in silence. The day love stood stronger than fear. It was our wedding day. When Anna's family finally said yes, I could not believe my ears. I felt weak in my knees, my eyes filled with tears. I whispered to myself, "We did it." That morning, I woke up early. My heart was beating fast, not from fear, but from happiness. I thought about every step that brought us here. The first look, the letters, the waiting, the struggle. All of it had meaning now. When I walked toward Anna, my heart became calm. She was simple. No gold, no diamonds, no heavy clothes. But to me, she was the most beautiful person in the world. I saw her smile, and everything felt right. My father stood beside me. His eyes were proud. My mother stood near Anna. Her eyes were full of tears. When I held Anna's hand, it felt warm, strong. I whispered, "Are you ready?" She looked at me and said softly, "I have been ready for years." Those words went straight to my heart. The ceremony was small. There was no big crowd, no loud music, but there was love, pure and real. When we finished our vows, my father placed his hand on my shoulder. He said quietly, "Take care of her. A wife is a trust." I nodded. "I promise," I said. My mother hugged me and whispered, "Be patient, be kind, be strong." Those words became my guide. When the ceremony ended, Anna and I walked out together, hand in hand. For the first time, I felt complete. That night we sat quietly. Anna said, "Robert, after everything, we are finally together." I smiled and replied, "I will never let you go." She leaned her head on my shoulder, and I felt peace. Even now, at 72, that moment lives inside me. The wedding was not about money. It was about love winning after struggle.
Chapter 6. The Sweet Home. After the wedding, life opened a new door. We were no longer dreaming, we were living. We had a small home, very small. A few clothes, a few dishes, a simple bed. But to us, it felt like treasure. Anna looked around and smiled. "This is ours," she said. "Even if it is small, it is everything." I held her hand. "As long as you were here," I said, "I am rich." The early days were sweet. I remember the first morning. Anna made tea. She placed it in front of me with shy eyes. I took a sip and smiled. "It tastes perfect," I said. She laughed. "You are saying this because I made it." "No," I replied softly. "I mean it." We did everything together. Shopping, cooking, cleaning. Sometimes we burned the food. Sometimes we laughed about it. One day, the bread got ruined. Anna looked worried. I held her and said, "Even this is enough if it is with you." She hugged me tightly. Evenings were special. We talked about dreams. We talked about peace. Anna said, "I do not want gold. I only want a calm life." I replied, "Then we will build calm together." One rainy night, water leaked from the roof. We placed buckets everywhere. Anna laughed as water touched her hair. "This house is becoming a river," I said. She laughed louder. "Then we will swim together." Even in trouble, we found joy. One evening, Anna asked quietly, "Do you think I made the right choice?" I held her hand and said, "The right choice is not always easy, but it is always true."
Tears filled her eyes. She whispered, "Then I am the luckiest woman." I smiled. "No," I said, "I am." We lived simply. I worked outside. She made our home warm inside. When I returned tired, her smile healed me. She often said, "We do not have much, but we have peace." I replied, "Peace is more valuable than gold." Looking back now, I understand. Those days were not about what we owned. They were about what we shared. Love, laughter, dreams. That was our sweet home.
Chapter 7. Hard Roads Together. After the sweet days of our early marriage, life slowly changed. Not suddenly, not loudly, but step by step. The same home that heard our laughter also began to hear our worries. Money was not enough. Bills waited. Work was hard. I still remember one evening when there was almost no food on the table. I looked down and felt pain in my chest. Anna noticed my face. She touched my hand and said softly, "Robert, do not worry. Even bread tastes good when shared with love." I felt ashamed. "I am sorry," I said. "I wanted to give you a better life." She smiled gently. "You already did. You gave me honesty, safety, and love." Those words broke me and healed me. There were nights when we argued, not because we stopped loving each other, but because stress was heavy. Once Anna cried and said, "Why is life so hard for us?" I held her close and replied, "Because life is testing us, and I believe we will pass." She wiped her tears and said, "Then let us not lose each other." That was marriage. Not perfection, but staying. Winter came with more problems. The roof leaked again. Water fell everywhere. I shouted in anger, "Why do we always suffer?" Anna stayed calm. She said, "Because this is our road, and we are walking it together." Her calm voice pulled me back. Another hard day came when I lost my job. I walked home slowly. My heart was heavy. I thought Anna would be disappointed. Instead, she hugged me. She said, "It is only a job. We still have each other." Tears filled my eyes. "How are you so strong?" I asked. She smiled and replied, "Because when one of us falls, the other becomes strength." Those hard years taught me something important. Love is not tested in happiness. Love is tested in hunger, in loss, in silence. And Anna never left. She never complained. She never blamed. We held each other, and that made all the difference. Chapter 8. The Last Treasure. Years passed. Slowly. Quietly. Life gave us both pain and peace. We grew older. Our hair turned gray. Our steps became slower. But our love stayed. Now I'm 72 years old. I sit alone many evenings. The house is quiet, but my heart is full. Anna became sick many years later. I sat beside her bed and held her hand. She looked at me and whispered, "Robert, you gave me everything. I never needed gold. I only needed you." I could not stop my tears. "No," I said, "it was you who gave me everything. You gave me courage. You gave me peace." She smiled weakly. Then she said something I will never forget. "Promise me you will live. Do not live in pain. Live in memories." I kissed her hand and whispered, "I promise." When she left this world, my heart felt empty. The house felt colder.
Days felt longer. I asked myself, how do I live without her? Then I remembered her words, so I chose to live with memories, not with regret. Sometimes I close my eyes. I see my childhood, my father lifting me when I fell, my mother smiling with tired eyes. Sometimes I see my youth, the first look, the first letter, the first promise. Sometimes I see our wedding day, Anna's smile, her hand in mine, and sometimes I see the hard days, the leaking roof, the empty table, the quiet strength. Each memory is a treasure, not gold, not money, but love. People ask me, Robert, what was the best day of your life? I smile and say, it was not one day, it was every day I loved and was loved. If you are young, listen to me. Do not chase only things. Chase kindness. Chase truth. Chase love. These stay when everything else fades. If you are old, I know you understand. You are holding your own treasures. A voice, a smile, a hand you once held. Life does not give us endless time, but it gives us enough moments. Do not waste them in anger. Fill them with love, because one day memories will be all you have, and you will want them to warm you, not hurt you. Tonight, as I finish my story, I feel peace. My parents are gone. My wife is gone, but none of them are lost. They live inside me. They walk with me in silence. They are my last treasure. These were the best days of my life, and I shared them so you may live yours fully. Like this story? Subscribe to Slow English Life Stories and share your life experience in the comments.